Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen. I am your host for the next conversation hour. If you notice and you're looking in the stream, you see a wonderful, beautiful young lady. That is Miss Diane Keenan. Diane, please give a shout out to my Straight Talk audience.
Hello, and with the introduction like that, who can't love this guy? Come on now,
She
young
came in.
lady.
She came in like she was doing a Broadway play in New York. Hello, start
Yeah.
spreading the news. But I'm glad to have each of you that are in the listening audience on today. I want you to like, tag, and share this conversation with those in your friend group. In addition to that, you need to call your family, call your friends, your people down the street, your cousins, your play cousins, everybody. Let them know that it is time for Straight Talk. I want to thank you guys for continuing listening, whether you're listening via social media on our social media platforms, be it Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen or 107.1 FM Kiss WTLZ on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on all of the other platforms. We certainly thank you for continually tuning in and making this your number one show where you are empowered with information. I want to give a shout out to my producer who is also in the house. You won't see him, but you hear him. He is Matthew, aka White Soul.
What up, Noah? How are you doing today?
Matt, I am doing well. How has life been treating you, my man?
I'm doing pretty well. I just got another 100% on my exam in college, so I'm kicking butt in that, and yeah, just working and going to school.
It is great to be able to see Matt's his glow up. When he came in, he was in school looking for an opportunity, came in as an intern. Now he's probably doing full-time hours over there. Child labor laws in full effect. But we certainly thank him. He makes this possible. Once we're done with this show is then transformed under the hands of Matt into a podcast on, I believe it is Spotify. You can go and you can find this show there, and he puts it on the webpage on kisswtlz.com. And when you go there, you'll see this mug there. Click on the link, and you'll be able to hear this show in its entirety and other shows for your listening enjoyment. So we certainly thank you for everybody out there, to the afternoon girlfriend, Yvonne Daniels, for allowing us to have this amazing platform as a content brand manager for the station. All right, so I am here in the studio. Y'all know how we do this. We start off by talking about what's on my mind, and I'm going to keep this really short. But there is something, and next week I need you to tune in, because we're going to talk about the voting block that needs to take place. We got a voting conversation that needs to happen. We have a state Senate race that is under full swing. People are now making their announcements. They are. This is going to be like an election on steroids, meaning it is a shortened period of time. So there's going to be a need for us to move and activate and move behind a candidate that we can represent. So on next week, I'm going to give y'all the real deal, Holyfield, the real 411 on what's going down. I'll give you my opinion. And like I said, an opinion is like a doorknob. Everyone has one that they turn. I had to change and make an alter on what that was. But those of you who know what I'm talking about. But I want to share with you, I think, things that are important for the village to take into consideration as we look at who do we position for this next role, as they will be representing us in a time and in a climate that it requires us to be very concise. I think that there are 3 individuals that are going. I thought Mr. Schutte was going to be in the running for this, but I guess he has decided not to do so. But it still begs to differ why there needs to be a conversation. We have 3 individuals that are out there that are kind of the front runners in what's taking place. And quite often what always happens in the village is that we don't coalesce around any single candidate. And we have multiple people that jump into the race, and we dilute the voice of those individuals and often lose a race. Now, I need those who are running as Democrats to get your mind together. We do not have space for what I'm currently seeing. If there needs to be change, and there will be change, it requires us to be a unified, solidified voice. And so I'm going to tell y'all what I think. I'm going to give you my thoughts in terms of what I see. There has been a lot of communication. I've been contacted by a lot of forces encouraging me to make a decision. But you all know how I am. I take it all in. I chew the meat and I spit out the bones. And at the end of the day, I make a decision that is best for how I believe we need to move forward. And I want to encourage and empower you all with my opinion. And if it means anything, accept it. If it doesn't, then continue to do what you're doing. No harm, no foul. All right, so we're going to get into this conversation. I'm so glad to have Miss Diane with us on today. She has been doing some amazing work, and I met her a few years ago through my volunteerism and opportunities to go in and make community impact. Diane, welcome again to Straight Talk.
Thank you.
I want to start off by just talking about who you are. Behind the bright, beautiful smile, beyond the warm hugs and the great conversation, let's talk a little bit about who you are.
Okay, so I believe that my background brought me to where I am today.
Okay.
And that gives me great empathy for a lot of our guests and just people in general. I was raised, but not with my biological parents. I looked different. I had a different skin color than they did. And I never felt like I fit in.
Okay.
Because I didn't. So you'd see all these family photos and I'd be there with all my cousins and they'd all have light hair, light skin, light eyes. And then boom, there's me. So I had a hard time dealing with that and going to school with that.
Let me ask you this question, Ms. Diane. You said you were not raised with your biological parents.
Right.
Okay. Is that both parents? Neither parent?
Yes.
Okay.
So I was my dad and so-called and mother.
You talking to me. My mother and my so-called dad. No, go ahead. I got you. Go ahead.
Got me. So anyway, so I was with this couple and my dad came home from work one day and I was going on 9 months old and he found me in my crib in the home alone. And my mother had left us and I didn't meet her until I was about 27 years old.
Wow.
Yes. And my dad did not talk about her. It's like she didn't exist. So I had all these questions. He ended up marrying a woman, and that woman did not care for me because I looked like my mother.
Right.
So the relationship was difficult right from the get-go. And now as an adult, I know she had mental health issues, but at the time I didn't know that.
So what was the impact? There's so many people that, I talk to young people every single day. I engage some young people who don't have, one or either parent in their, it's almost what was a rare situation for you at that time is a very real situation for so many young people today. What was the impact on not being a part of a core family that resembled you, that looked like you, that you considered your own? What was the impact of that on your life?
It caused me to be insecure, not knowing who you look like or why you have different tastes or why you think different, why you like different foods, different colors, music, everything. And, then you felt less than.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so where did you grow up, by the way? Where
I
you?
grew up in the city of Saginaw.
Okay, so you're born and raised from the city of Saginaw. Okay.
Yes. And so with that being said, I lived in a predominantly white area and was raised like that. And so I'm not saying that's good or bad.
Right.
I'm just saying I didn't fit in my family.
Right.
So my family unit. So that caused a lot of difficulties in growing up. As a young teenager, I became pregnant and I was running away from home before I got pregnant. And I was placed in the juvenile home. And even there, I felt judged. And I was, because you figure, and this was 60, years ago, whatever. I'm going to be 67. And so they didn't look at it like, why would a child want to run away from home? And that should have been their first question.
Yeah, we look at the symptom, but we don't really deal with the root causes of the behavior that we're seeing take place.
Right.
Now, you were here born here in the city of Saginaw.
Yes.
When your father's wife,
Yes.
would have been essentially your stepmother.
Yes.
She didn't want you around. What was your father's response? So who did he give you to, or how did that happen?
Yeah. So my dad, who I was raised as, he's my dad. He did not, for some reason, have the backbone to stand up to her. And so he let things slide. When I told him some things about what was going on, because there was a lot of physical abuse going on, he questioned that. And she was smart. She'd do it while he was at work or when he wasn't around.
Yeah.
So that gave me the feeling of, okay, he doesn't believe me. I can't trust him either. And it's hard as a child not to have anyone that you can trust, and especially when you feel less than and, not cared for.
So who were you raised by?
I was raised with my dad, and who I thought was my dad, and my stepmother.
Okay, but
Yeah.
once that happened, you then went where?
Yeah. So then all of that took place. I was then a ward of the courts,
Okay.
and I was put into a girls' home in Grand Rapids. It was run by the Salvation Army, and it was an unwed mother's home, because back then, if you became pregnant as a teen, you really were looked down upon, and there weren't programs to help you or to guide you in any way. So I was in this home in Grand Rapids, like I said, and it turned out to be a blessing. They were very kind there. There were girls there from all different states. But interestingly enough, there were a lot of us from Saginaw, and a lot of them were Catholic.
Wow.
And I was Catholic. So we would go there. You never knew their last name. You just knew their first name. All different circumstances. And because of my age, when I went in there, I was 15. And when my daughter was born, I was 16. And I had no legal rights at all.
To the child?
Right.
Wow.
So that means that my legal parents would have to take custody of her. And they said, absolutely not. My stepmother said, nope, she's going up for adoption. I'm not raising another kid, blah, blah, blah. And so that child was relinquished for adoption.
Wow.
Yeah.
When we see people in certain capacities, and I'm often a person who thinks about, like, okay, this person is serving, they're taking care of others, they have a loving heart, they are so warm. I often think to myself, like, what is the story behind their service?
Sure.
And I am being blown away right now by the story that you're sharing.
Yeah.
How often do you have time to really share this with those in our community?
I just started sharing because I was embarrassed. I was ashamed, because that's how I was made to feel.
Right.
And so this was 50 years ago, because my daughter's 50 years old now.
Wow.
And I just, the pain and the shame led me into drinking and getting high. So when I was 16, I was released from there without my daughter. So I had to go in to get my own apartment. After all that, my stepmother didn't want me in the home.
Wow.
So I got a job full time, which meant I had to drop out of school.
How old were you at this point?
16.
16, full-time job, baby in tow. I mean, at this point, no, the baby was not there because
I didn't have the baby.
How did you deal with that? The idea of giving birth?
Yes. All by myself.
Wow.
I didn't have anyone in that delivery room with me or the labor room.
So how does a 16-year-old girl who has never really experienced what it was like to have a real sense of family and to feel like you belong,
right,
give birth that baby, because you are too young, and so those people who are your parents
right,
have rights to this child, make a decision for you,
right,
that is going to forever impact your life? Yes. How did you navigate that stage of your life, and what was going through your head?
So that's when I began getting high and getting drunk, and the pain was so deep that, and I just could hardly cope on a daily basis. So what I've done and what I have done over the years is become a workaholic. And that's always been one area where I could work my way up and feel good about myself. Unfortunately, I've never been able to have a child since then. I was pregnant and when I was married and had a miscarriage. So I didn't see the plan back then, but God had a plan for me. And anybody who knows me knows I love some babies. I love kids. I love them. I don't care if they're 2 days old or if they're 40 years old. I love kids. And God has always put kids in my life.
Okay, now I want to ask this question because to me, this story, I did not know these things about you.
Right.
And it is such an amazing story of resilience. But anyone who knows you and sees this or has had an encounter with you now is giving an insight as to why the passion for those who are downtrodden,
Right.
who don't fit in,
Right.
who don't know where their space is, who may deal with insecurities in life.
Sure.
Why your that passion is there.
Sure.
So I want to ask this question. So all of this happens, the child is gone. You continue to grow. Have you since then been able to connect? Have you had an opportunity to see the child, or has from that day, was that the last time that you laid eyes on the child that you gave birth to?
No, I did meet her when she became of age.
Okay.
And then I met her first two oldest children. And then she got divorced and remarried. And since then, I have not seen any of them. She's married to a very wealthy person, and she chooses not to have any part of Saginaw or me. And, at first I had a difficult time with that. But now I just thank God if she's safe and healthy and treated well and has her family, then I'm okay. It's okay.
This reminds me of the story of the two mothers and Solomon having to make that decision.
Yeah.
And he says, okay, you know what? This mother says that this is her baby. The other one says it's mine. And Solomon says, you know what? I'm going to just cut the baby in half and give both of you half. And the mother who baby it wasn't said, yeah, okay, let's do it. And the mother whose child it was said, I'd rather see that child be happy and not with me.
Right.
Than to be, dead or harmed.
Right.
And I only have a piece of that child.
I relate to that.
Man, that is such a powerful testimony.
Yeah.
So when we look at this and my heart goes out for you, and I'm sure anyone who's hearing this story is saying, oh my gosh, how in the world do you recover from that sense of loss? How do you do it, Miss Diane? How do you pick up the pieces from so much trauma and continue to go forward and be positive and optimistic?
Well, it is heartbreaking. I have a difficult time at the holidays, not having any children or grandchildren. However, there's always kids that need me, and God puts them in my life, so it works well. And one thing I always reflect on is, so when I met my daughter, I also met her adoptive parents. And the first words out of her adopted mother's mouth were, thank you for not having an abortion.
Wow.
And that has always stayed with me. And I was jealous. I'll admit I was jealous of that woman that had my child.
Right.
Part of me, because when you carry a child for 9 months, it's part of you.
Absolutely.
And you love them right now. You don't. Yeah. So I stay with that. When I was going through all this, I remember one day I was at JCPenney's store and I saw a little girl with black hair, brown skin, walking around with a lady that did not look like her. And I thought, is that my daughter? And I did. I followed him around the store, checking it out. But yeah, you'd always wonder, but I always prayed to God and I said, God, I will be good to every child I meet. If you please make sure that my daughter is always cared for and loved for.
That is so amazing. So since we're talking about kids and adopting kids, you have adopted my brother. My brother's out there. I love him. He is my brother from a different mother. Antonio Brooks, who is doing
Yes.
so much amazing work in this community.
He is.
Working with young people, those who are having substance use issues, and he is out there making an impact.
Yes.
You took this young man in. I understand this story now. It makes sense to me.
Yeah.
You took him in. What was it about him that when you saw him, you said, you know what? You are going to be my son.
Yeah. So his spirit, he's real. He doesn't forget where he comes from. He wants to help others and make a difference. Was he perfect? No. Was Diane perfect? No. Still not. And that's okay. That's okay because we're real. And that's the kind of people that I gravitate towards, you know.
Yes.
And people that have been through pain. Like, I didn't add, in my childhood, I was also molested and raped. And so that gives me an insight for both males and females. And they can sense something about that. I know right away. I don't know how I know, but I know. And when I see the young women walk into the soup kitchen, I know.
So she mentions the soup kitchen, and I want to talk about this because through all of the things and the adversities you've experienced, you have been able to take your pain and really transform your pain into a power or a fuel of your own.
Yes.
Let's talk about what took place. As you now are a budding adult, you're working, you're
Right.
doing life. Life is happening.
Right.
When you look at all of those things, and we're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, I want to talk about what was the transition as a young individual, 16 years old, working full time, taking care of yourself, and how do you find yourself now as an executive director of really the hunger solution in the city of Saginaw? And what was your motivation for doing that? We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to be back with more Diane Keenan and Straight Talk. This is Kareem. We're back with more of Straight Talk. I'm here in the studio with Miss Diane Keenan, and I am telling you, I had no idea that this conversation would turn the way that it is. My heart is torn. It's mending back. I'm feeling encouraged. I'm feeling empowered because I'm hearing where you came from, but I'm seeing the woman that's in front of me, and I'm seeing the impact that you're making. How did we get from the 16-year-old girl who had to drop out of school and work full time? What is the next chapter? How does this happen? Because I know kind of some things about you now.
Right.
But what happens next?
So I knew that I couldn't depend on anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I felt that. So I knew that I had to become independent. And so at first, how I did that was getting married in an abusive relationship. And the man, my husband at that time, would beat me. I thought, oh, he must love me. Oh, he must be jealous. And he just cares about me. That's sick thinking.
Yeah.
But when you were abused as a child, you think that's what you deserve.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, but there was a time and a day that came, and I put an end to all that. And I tell you what, there's nobody going to lay hands on me now. That's not going to happen. Nor am I going to be around anyone and allow that to happen to them.
So did you ever go back to school and finish, school?
Yes.
Okay. What did you do?
So as soon as I turned 18, I went down to the Board of Ed and I took my GED test and I passed it right then. So that was a great thing. Then later on, I got my associate's degree, then my bachelor's degree, and then my master's degree.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kudos to you.
Well, thank you.
What was the motivation? So what was the thing? I mean, you had every opportunity, every reason, every cause to just give up. What was the motivation to say, hey, I got to do something different?
I still didn't love myself, but I was becoming to like myself. And I knew again that I had to have my own back. And so that motivated me. And it was hard. I'm not going to say it wasn't hard. I was working full time. And because of my lack of education, getting my bachelor's degree was more difficult for me. So I had to do a lot of studying, a lot of studying.
Wow. And so you finished both
Yes.
you got your GED.
Yeah.
For those of you who are thinking because you had to drop out of school and now you're working on your GED, you're never going to recover. She is a testament that if she did it, you can do it as well.
Yes.
You went from your GED to getting your associate's degree,
Yes.
from your associate's degree to getting your bachelor's degree,
right.
from your bachelor's now being the proud owner and recipient of your master's degree. What was your educational endeavors? What lane did you go in?
So I went into organizational management. So it's mostly business with some psychology classes, and it was a great feeling. I even after I graduated with my master's, I had a nightmare that I didn't pass because of the math classes and all of that. But I did. I don't know how, but grace of God, I did. And I had some good cohorts in my class, so it all worked out really well.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so now we are out here. How did you find yourself at the Eastside Soup Kitchen?
Okay, so then I worked for outreach for the Girl Scouts in Saginaw, but mine was non-traditional. So I was in school rooms, I was in housing unit, St. Thomas housing way back in the day. I was always in inner city. And if somebody asked me, where would you like to work? Someplace like Frankenmuth or in the inner city, baby, it's the inner city. It's the inner city.
You like the edge.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And I see the hurt. Not that there's not hurt in other communities. There is. It's a different kind of hurt, I believe. But it's where I feel I can make the biggest impact on somebody's life.
So now you are the executive director
yes.
of what we love to call the East Side Soup Kitchen.
Yes.
And I have to give this statistic because every time I hear you share it, I'm blown away. Over the course of this past summer,
yes.
With the issues and the food insecurities, yes. You guys were preparing over the course of the summer 900 meals a day.
Yes, well over 900.
Over 900 meals a day.
Each day.
So what is the thing? So now you have been through so much trauma. You have been through so much pain. And what is the thing that motivates you to do the work that you do?
I think it is, I'm a very protective person. So when I see somebody being mistreated or they're the underdog, even as a kid, I was like that. I'm going to protect you and I'm going to help you in any way that I can. And so when I see people walk in and they're broken, they're lost, they're hurt, maybe they're addicted, maybe they have mental health issues, whatever it is, my heart goes out to them because somebody just needs to know that there's somebody else who cares so they can come in and tell you what's going on.
I want you to share the story really quick, and I want to get to the project you guys have going on this coming Thursday.
Okay.
There's something great happening.
Sure.
I want you to talk about the young man or the individual that came in was talking about the GED story that we just shared offline.
Yes.
You mind sharing? Because I think it's really powerful.
Yeah. So, matter of fact, just today, Antonio, my son, was there as he is 3 days a week helping people there with recovery programs and such. And someone said that they would not date this girl because she was just working on her GED and he didn't feel that they were on the same level. And I said, well, guess who else got a GED? And Antonio's hand went up, my hand went up. Oh, well, I explained that, hey, you have to start somewhere. And you don't know what happened in her life that she couldn't complete school in a traditional manner. So let's not judge. It goes back to that again. And you don't know what that young girl might do one day.
Hey,
so brother, you better listen and watch out.
Where you start is not where you finish, right?
There you go.
Wow, that is so powerful. And I just encourage you to continually share that message of hope. Yesterday was our fall frenzy, your fall frenzy.
Yes.
I appreciate the opportunity and the invitation to be the keynote speaker on yesterday.
Yes.
It was a beautiful occasion.
You were
And we
awesome.
talked a lot about hope.
Yes.
The table of hope was the message.
Yes.
So when you look at what you're doing and you have operated in this space, providing meals, but we said it's more than a meal, right?
Yes, it
providing
is.
hope,
Yes.
providing love,
Yes.
providing a safe space. One of the things that warmed my heart that I saw you do on last year was the temperatures were, and this was early in January, February, the temperatures were absolutely brutal.
Yes.
And even though you have a feed schedule that you operate by, you talked with your workers, your volunteers, you extended the hours
Yes.
of that you guys were open, and you brought in games and other things to
Yeah.
keep people occupied,
Right.
so that they could have a warming space, so that they could get out of this negative 25 degrees
Yes.
sub-zero temperatures. Why was that so important to you?
Because I just can't stand to see somebody outside in the cold. Just imagine if that were you or somebody you loved, in the cold, in the rain, in the sleet, in the heat, whatever the case may be. And just to open our doors is a small thing, but it means so much to people. They can come in, they can have something warm to drink in the winter. And they love to play bingo, so that's always fun. And
we were playing bingo, giving away prize. I mean, it was
Yeah.
such an amazing thing.
It is.
You made it not just a warming station for their physical bodies, but a warming place for their hearts.
Right.
And so I applaud you for that work,
Well,
for that forethought, and all of the partners that were coming out and supporting.
Yes.
You are a people magnet. You encourage
Oh.
them to feel the pain and the burden. And I think that's one of the things that has made you so successful.
Well, thank you. It's probably more rewarding to me than it is to our guests when they say, "Oh, thank you," or "It's a blessing," or "The East Side Soup Kitchen, is saving my life and they're helping me do this and that." I'm very proud of the work we do at the East Side Soup Kitchen. I'm very proud of the staff that works there, because I can say that most of them have been in prison, all in and out of jail, whatever the case is. And those are the people that get it.
Wow.
Those are the people everybody deserves a second chance, a third chance, whatever it takes to get right.
Yeah, a lot of people will give a second chance when they're working on their 152nd chance, right?
Right.
So
right.
we have to extend the grace that we have been so blessed to have.
Yes.
Okay, we have been talking a lot about your past and telling your story, but there is really a bright future ahead, not only for you, but for what's happening at the East Side Soup Kitchen. There is a great day that we're going to talk about coming up on this Thursday, where the community can once again be a part. But let's talk about this expanding of the vision.
Okay, so we're expanding our building, which is going to allow us to serve in a more safe and comfortable area. And by that, I mean, as far as safety, is in our kitchen. Right now, our kitchen is not equipped to serve the amount of meals that we've been serving. And it's going to have a new layout, new equipment, which we desperately need. So that's going to be very nice. We'll have more storage space. And we're going to have some rooms where people can come in. They can take an HIV test. When we have Secretary of State come in. We have insurance people come in. People help with SNAP benefits. Just a wide range. And people say, "Why do you offer those services?" Well, we offer them because transportation is a challenge for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So they don't realize if you have to pay $1.50 to get to A to C and then C to E and then, continue on, it's costly and people can't afford that. So we try to bring the resources to them.
How does this increase your ability to impact? So currently you're doing that. How much space does that mean for the dining room? Is there increased space for dining room capacity? Tell me a little bit about, yeah.
So we'll have separate rooms so people can have a private area, because we also offer like flu shots and, HIV testing, things like that. And when they want to talk privately, and they need somebody to confide in, then we serve meals outdoors, as you know, through a drive-through service.
Yes.
Well, now we're going to have a covered area.
Wow.
On the other side of the building, so we won't need to be in our parking lot. which is going to make it safer for our volunteers, our staff, and our guests. So they'll have a covered area to drive under.
This is absolutely beautiful.
It is.
To see the expansion, talking with some of your board members, Mr. Dwyer, who's out there, he's hustling and making things happening. This is great for the city of Saginaw. It's not just about the soup kitchen, but this is really for the entire Saginaw community. I'm not just talking about Saginaw City, but there are people that come for meals from all over the place, and people don't realize that.
That's true.
Let's talk about how people can kind of lean in and get involved. I had an opportunity to work with you last year on a fundraiser.
Yes.
There's another opportunity coming up. Let's talk about it.
Yes. And thank you for doing it again this year.
Yes.
So on Thursday, we'll be on TV5, WNEM, from the 5 o'clock news and the 6 o'clock news the entire time. And it's a phone bank where you'll be able to call in and to make donations to help us, especially right now. We really need the funds to purchase foods for a nice Thanksgiving meal, Christmas meal, and then just everyday meals that folks need.
And so on that particular day, we're going to be lighting up phones, right? We're getting those individuals to call in. What is the time frame again?
Yes. So it'll be from 5 to 6:30. And we will get something from TV5. You'll be able to share it. I'll be able to share it. And the others that will be answering telephones, we can share it. And hey, how about you guys getting a little contest going between each other, people answering the phone to see who can get the most phone calls. Call in and support Kareem.
Well, Tom Roy told me yesterday, he goes, hey, I'm still going to win this Thursday. And I was like, I'm going to put forth my best efforts. So I'm making phone calls.
Right.
It's not just a great competition, but it is a great time we have together, enjoying one another.
Sure.
And the diversity of people that you're bringing together is amazing.
Thank you.
So when we look at this and we look at the people that have the ability, what is the one thing that you want people to know? We've talked about your amazing story of courage under fire and perseverance, and making, like we say, taking your lemons and squeezing them out, adding a little bit of sugar, and making lemonade. What is the one thing that you want someone out there who is struggling to find their way? What would you say to that individual?
I would say, just if I can do it, anybody can do it. And I know that maybe you're feeling lost or alone or hurt, but you can overcome. And when you do, it's an awesome feeling. It's a great feeling.
So this coming Thursday, we are putting in phone calls. We are making it happen. You've got your host of individuals. Who are you expecting to be a part of this phone-a-thon?
Okay. We're going to have Tom Roy.
He's going to be out there. Tom, I'm coming for you.
Mayor Brenda Moore. We are going to have Christine Novak, the wife of County Treasurer Tim. And we are going to have, let me see, I'm having a senior moment right now.
You have Antonio Brooks from the Help Squad, and also myself, yours truly.
Yep. Yes, of course you. Yep. So, and I can't think of the other person right now.
But there's a great collection of folks.
It is, yes.
And this will be on TV5, right?
Yes, live.
They'll be doing live check-in. So if you're out there and you've heard this story that Miss Diane has been sharing about her personal overcoming, about growing up not knowing who, not just your father. I grew up not knowing who my father was, and I know the impact that it had on my life, but to not know really either of those parents or have them be a part of your life, to have a child that you birth and then are forced to give away and not be able to walk through that process. Right. But you did not give up. You continue to go. Yes. I am telling you, if this is not inspirational, I don't know what is. I am empowered and thankful for having given this opportunity to share. Ms. Diane, I think about everything that is going on. You are building what for many people is a beacon of hope. It is a light in the midst of a dark place. What are some of the things or individuals that are key partners? Let's talk about those individuals that are key supporters of the work that you're doing.
Okay, so that we are in the same building as Hidden Harvest, which is a food rescue agency. And so on a daily basis, we're given food from them, which helps us greatly with our food budget. And then we write grants. For our expansion project, we received $1 million from ARPA, and then $1 million from, and Amos O'Neill had a big part in that. So we are so grateful for that. And so we have Consumer Powers that's helping us. We had Jolt. I mean, we have many individuals, different places, but you can always make a donation. And the food bank that we're having on TV5 is just to purchase food, because we all know the cost of food right now. And so that's just food for our guests. I shouldn't say just, but that's what the money's going towards.
So this is not buying vehicles. This is
No.
really about providing food. And I think that
Yes.
that's important.
It is.
I think it's so important. It's not administrative. It's not. This is for purchasing food. I think this is so amazing.
Yes.
All right, now I do have to ask this question. With
Okay.
everything that's going on, if this government continues its shutdown, there hasn't been any real conversation to end this.
Right.
What do you foresee as the impact that this will make on the work that you're doing?
It is going to increase the need, and the need is already tremendous. We're already starting to receive calls. When is your next food giveaway? Our food giveaways are food distributions where we have a semi-load of food, usually around 20,000 pounds of food delivered to the soup kitchen, and then we do a drive-through food giveaway, as well as we bag up food and have it in our dining room for those folks that don't have transportation, so they have food as well. We're getting calls. We had a mom call, and she couldn't use the WIC over the weekend, and she needed food for her baby. We had somebody call today, can you help me with a box of food? You know, I need food to hold me over. I don't know what's happening with my food stamps. We work with the Saginaw Police Department, their crime victim unit, and they'll call and say, Diane, can you put a box of food together for a mom and her 3 kids? We had to remove her in the middle of the night, and they need food. They need help. Then you get breaking stories, heartbreaking, from senior citizens.
Yeah.
And they need food. They need help.
And they're going to be really among our women with young children.
Yes.
Our seniors are going to be seriously impacted.
Yes.
With benefits being cut, with workers now shortage for federal benefits. If there's anything that goes wrong, being able to get assistance is going to be so difficult. So we've got to be able to lean in for those who are most vulnerable in our community. And I am so thankful for the work that you're doing. I need to let you know, for those of you who are out there and those who have been listening to this conversation, there is a meeting of leaders that is taking place on this coming Tuesday. It is a virtual meeting. I said, we got to make sure Miss Diane is in this meeting. So she represents the Soup Kitchen as well as Hidden Harvest, getting them in to talk about what happens if people lose those SNAP benefits.
Right.
What happens? There's seniors with those Wheels on Meals. How is the community going to stand up and advocate for those who are most vulnerable in our community? So I am glad you're sharing this story. Once again, those of you who are listening, on this coming Thursday, we will be on the phones live on WENEM TV5, sharing an opportunity with our entire community. This is not a certain person or a certain group's responsibility, but I believe that what happens to the least of us is the responsibility of all of us.
And I agree.
So, Miss Diane, I want to thank you for coming into our show, enlightening us, inspiring us, and giving us a new understanding of why you do what you do and what fuels the purpose and the passion in which you operate. Why don't you just give a final goodbye to everyone that's out there?
Thank you. And please, if you need anything or you know somebody that does, have them contact the Eastside Soup Kitchen. No one should go hungry. That's a human need, a human right.
Thank you all for tuning in. God bless you. God bless you all. Grace and peace.